And welcome back, everyone, to Lantern Corps. A day late, but I'm getting to it. From Alejandro. I don't want to butcher your last name. I'm gonna say G. I think it's Gerald. Gerald. Forgive me if I butchered the last name. I'm gonna say Alejandro G. Who asked the question? What is the Lantern Corps? Damon Salvatore, or Salvatore? I don't. From Vampire Diaries. Now, I say I don't know how it's pronounced because this falls into the category of series where I am aware of its existence, similar to like Ninjago or something like that, where I'm aware of its existence, but never once have I watched the show. So I have to do a bit of creative gymnastics here, in the sense that I have to figure out, based on what I've read about him in his bio, where he could qualify in the Lantern Corps. He's kind of an emotional, or like, again, kind of running the emotional gamut in some ways, because you could make an argument for will, fear, rage, love. Theoretically, all these, even to a smaller degree, compassion, except for a couple of them, have some routes you could go towards. I think the only ones that don't work are greed, because he's actually not as greedy apparently as he lets on to be. It's a bit more of a facade. He just kind of has embraced himself as a vampire. It's certainly not gold. He's never been perpetually happy. He has no shame in being a vampire, so ultraviolet doesn't work. Compassion, he does still have some in him. It's just, he, again, hides it away, so that doesn't work. And hope doesn't work. I think we just agree right now. Hope probably doesn't work. But what about the rest of them? So I have 3 lined up here, but the rest of them, honestly, there's an argument for any of them. Let me get out of the way the ones I think are least likely. I don't think Green is really a good candidate. Yes, he's probably overcome great fear in his life, and yes, he has very good willpower, but I just don't see him as a good fit for him. His emotional capabilities on other sides of the field, or life death, I think are a bit stronger. Speaking of which, there's life and death. Being a vampire, he's kind of nigh immortal. But I couldn't find if vampires function the same way here as the living undead as they do in other medium. It's because vampirism is one of those. Vampires are one of those creatures that you can really warp the mythos on. They can be genetic vampires. They can be the standard, the dead that come back to life. They can just be a supernatural curse. They are kind of the undead, but are not actually dead. Like have never freaking died to begin with. Like the idea of turning into a vampire theoretically and becoming the undead would be the fact that you died and then came back to life. But there are people in medium that get bit by vampires and then just turn. They never die. So I can't, because I don't know the lore. I can't really understand the lore of. I can't really understand. I see are vampires vampires and Vampire Diaries the end? Are vampires? Vampires, not vampires real. We all know they are real. But technically speaking, there's vampires in Vampire Diaries. In Vampire Diaries, dead. Okay, dead or alive. Okay, all right. Now you're giving me the deaths. I want body counts. Are the undead? Let's try the undead real quick. The undead. Let's see here now. Are they the undead or not? Let's see. Vampires are magically reanimating human corpses which are inhabited by the spirits of the deceased people, a person who closely resemble the living human they were before their transformation. Species information in the Vampire Diaries. I believe that's where this is coming from. So, okay. Okay, here we go. Yep, that's exactly, okay, so they are, in fact, walking corpses that have been reanimated. So, by that logic, one second here, by that logic, I do have to throw the Black Lantern Corps into the ring. I do have to throw that one. I don't have that image currently. I should maybe put all the images available, maybe when I do these, and then But then there'll be like a lot of traversing and figuring things out. Come on. No, what is it? Geez, why? Why is it being so? It's just being really janky at the moment. Come on, come on. Hey, but anyway, Death has. I don't have Death lined up like the image of the Death Lantern Corps, but Death has to. Oh, okay. Now I got it working. Uh, man, why does it not want to load? Whatever. Regardless, yeah, I think Death has to be on the docket. Then we have to at the very minimum, at least consider Death as an option. Beyond that, though, that means life can't work. They are the walking dead, and they're technically immortal, but they take life, they drink blood. That doesn't work. So, of the remaining ones I have here, let's go. And again, this is going partially with the character, obviously, well, not even partially. This is going with the character in mind here. We have, I'd say, among the remaining ones we have, Love maybe works. Here's the thing. We know he has a love interest, but I don't think that really works. It's at least there because he has a love interest, but I don't think that's what motivates him a lot of the time. Likewise, I think fear works, but eventually you get individuals who just aren't scared of you anymore. No matter how strong you are, there's eventually people who aren't scared of you. Unless you're someone like, I don't know, I'd have to think of someone like Thanos, for example. Thanos, even when they stood up to him, they were still scared as shit of him. I use that as just a bare bones example. Or Death in Supernatural. That's another good one. Death in Supernatural. Even though he is literally the embodiment of death, so he'd be a Black Lantern. You get my point. Like, at no time when he showed up were they never scared shitless of him. But yeah, no, I don't. It could work, but no. Weirdly enough, though, believe it or not, apart from the Death Lantern Corps, and this is going to be basically the two that we're going to pretty much decide between. Rage. When I looked up his bio, apparently Rage seems to be a very big component of this character, and vengeful rage. They even describe it as being kind of tied to his core, more or less. And that's important because the Red Lanterns obviously are Lanterns of Rage, but it's specifically a rage of revenge. I mean, other characters who experience rage, like say the Hulk or Wolverine, hypothetically, could become a Red Lantern too, just because they have so much rage. But it's the catalyst to be a Red Lantern. The thing that would attract a Red Lantern to you would be that wanting for revenge, and he carries that in spades, honestly. Like, he carries a lot of hatred towards individuals. He will actively seek revenge. So I would say that is if before the Black Lantern really became optional, this would have been the one I would have picked. But because the Black Lantern is optional, we now have to raise the question: is it going to be the Black Lantern ring, which would, if either or one of these is the second place, one of these is the first place? Is it the Black Lantern ring of death, or is it the Red Lantern ring of rage? For me, the fact is that they are brought back to life. They are reanimated corpses, but they are like they're now different species of beings. And the fact that they're still functioning, they're still technically living, undead, all that, I think slightly hinders the Black Lantern Corps in this category, only because of the way vampires kind of function. So I will actually go with the Lantern Corps Rage for him. I think based on at least the descriptions I have of him, it works well. It works well in his favor to be a boss. Being a vampire means that the ring replacing your heart thing is kind of moot, because he'll just be able to grow his heart back if he gets enough blood or whatever. But keep in mind, this is just my opinion based on the information I found for him. I am not a watcher of Vampire Diaries. I don't intend to, by the way. Whenever I have to do a Vampire Diaries versus, I will most likely just look up the information. Because I don't have the time to watch everything everywhere all at once. I have the time to watch that movie, but you know what I mean. I can't watch everything. I can't watch a full series just to do one video. I can't do that. But then again, I digress. This is my opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you for the next one.